Tara Wenig. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Thank you. So this is interesting because not only are you intuitive, but you're on the other side. You're a licensed mental health counselor, and you're also an intuitive energy psychology therapist.
Yes.
I did it.
Yes. Perfect. Yep.
So that's unusual, right? Because people are usually one or the other. It seems like a different side. Being licensed in the, would you say it's licensed in the medical field?
Yes, in the state of Florida.
In the state of Florida,
So I combine Western and Eastern together to be able to help people the most effectively.
And you help a lot of empaths.
I do. I specialize, yes.
Or sensitive people, as some are known.
Yes.
And some sensitive people don't know they're empaths. And I remember when my daughter found out she was an empath, she was so, so relieved to know there's something. There's a title, there's a whole thing about it.
Absolutely, yes.
And there's a path to healing.
Yes.
What is that path to healing for empaths? Or do they need, are you always empathic? Can you be a strong empath? How does that work?
There's a spectrum. So you can be on one side of the spectrum,
I like that,
which you would absorb a little bit, and then you can be on the opposite side of the spectrum.
Okay.
And so the way that I would describe like individuals understanding themselves, if they're an empath or not, is that like if there's three people that go to a horror movie, and the first person goes to the movie, and they're like, great movie, and they go home and they're fine. And then the next person goes to the same movie, and they're scared while they watch the movie, and they leave and they're good. And then the empathic sensitive person is scared just like the second person, but when they go home, they're like, oh my gosh, I have to turn on the lights, I can't sleep, and I'm scared, because they absorb so much more greatly. So everybody absorbs differently. There's some empathic people that actually feel physical problems, and I do that as well. I can feel people's physical sensations in their body in order to help them. And there's some people that feel, they feel their emotions. And so my job and my mission is to help as many highly sensitive, empathic people as I possibly can to understand who they are, absolutely like your daughter, because it's like a eureka when you find out that you actually have this, oh my gosh, these different deep sensations, then you can protect yourself. And so my mission is to help as many highly sensitive people as I can.
And empower them to go through life without getting wounded when you step out your door.
Absolutely.
Or step out your bedroom. People in the house can do some of the wounding too.
Yeah, so I actually created a highly sensitive self-healing deck of cards specifically designed for highly sensitive empathic people.
Oh, really?
And
okay.
So
you have it? Oh, you don't have it?
I don't.
Okay.
Yes.
But then go to your website, which I know is tarawenig.com.
Yes, or they can find it on Amazon. Yes.
What's it called again?
It's highly sensitive self-healing cards. Yes.
Very nice.
And so the way that I designed it is that I designed it so that empaths would have 44 tools that they can go to shield themselves, to ground themselves, to balance themselves, and then they can go right then and there. And it's also for children as well. And so I did it in a fun way. Instead of just creating a book, I created a deck of cards with a guidebook, and then I, on top of that, energetically program them, so then they can read it and they can energetically feel the physical sensation as if I were to heal them in person.
Wow.
Yes.
Excellent. But can they be healed by you in person too?
Absolutely.
Or remotely?
Yes, so I do have sessions, video, Skype sessions, and FaceTime that, yes, I do that individually as well.
Okay, perfect. And I've heard if you're empathic and you recognize that, you don't want to leave your house without setting an intention, or just saying every person I meet I know is somebody's son, somebody's daughter, mother, father, or somebody's hero, and they're just an amazing contribution, and they're going to be an amazing contribution to me.
Yes.
If you just walk out of your house, la-di-da, you're going to absorb whatever's out there. Now, I experience, getting loving vibes from people, giving love back, and it's beautiful.
That's
and
so
then,
nice.
and then if people are not on their best day and they're projecting some self-hate or something that they're not liking about themselves out, an empath can just be a mirror and reflect that back.
Yes.
And then they hate you.
Yeah, and so they absorb.
They absorb and reflect back.
Absolutely. And so a lot of times, and that's what I like, is to teach people how to decipher what's your emotion, what's your feelings, and what somebody else is. So the key thing for an empathic individual is to energetically shield themselves at the beginning of the day, and they can definitely do that with an intention as well, as you were mentioning.
Sure. Well, and that's why a lot of empaths, before they realize they're empaths, let's face it, they can be ornery people. They can, or I'm saying in the nicest way, they can have an edge to them.
Yes.
And they have an edge to them. They think that people are jerks because they've been absorbing the self-hate from those people.
Yes.
And they think, oh, people are like this and that. And it's like, oh no, you didn't shield yourself from those people.
Right.
People are great, or they're just wounded like you now.
Yes.
And now these are wounded people hating on each other. When in reality, if they just do some self-healing themselves, which I imagine you can help them with.
Absolutely.
Because you are an intuitive energy psychology therapist, as well as a licensed mental health counselor.
Yes. Because
Please, talk about that.
Because I help people heal with energy modalities. So I specialize in people that have anxiety, depression, and trauma, and then highly sensitive, empathic people understanding their gifts. So for example, if somebody has trauma, what I do as a healer is I'm very blessed. The universe guides me that here's the trauma, and I release and remove all the emotions and all the negative energies attached to this. So then they basically know that this happened, but they don't have any emotions attached to it.
Beautiful.
Yes, and I can do that, and you can physically feel it automatically, instantly when I help people heal.
Wow.
Yes, I'm very blessed.
Sounds like quick work too.
Absolutely, I like that. Yeah, so people can feel it. They can get validated that they're feeling better, and they can walk out the door, or if it's through a Skype session, they can physically feel it, and they can feel themselves getting lighter and feeling better. And I usually use a scale. And yesterday when I did a lecture, the person was feeling a 10 of a negative intensity, and then afterwards, just within a few seconds, she was at a 2, and then she was at a 0.
Wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Within 10 minutes?
Or less sometimes, yes. Less. So that one was less.
That particular, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So what other things do you help me? Is it mostly empaths that you work with?
Like I mentioned, I help people that have anxiety.
Right.
Because a lot of people who have anxiety or social anxiety, those individuals may not even realize that they're empathic. So I teach them different coping mechanisms so they can detach from those negative energies. And that's the key, to detach from negative energies. So anxiety and trauma, and then anyone who has any metaphysical gifts, they see things, they don't understand things. I work with children, I work with adults across the gamut, especially children who don't understand.
Talk about some examples of what you help children with.
A lot of times children are very fearful because when they go to bed, they think they see things or hear things. And so what happens is their parents try to help them, and they go to maybe traditional counselors, which are amazing counselors, and eventually end up with me because they found me through different social media or through word of mouth. And then I help their child protect their energies again with intentions or shields, and they feel so much better because instead of an empathic person getting energies from everywhere, then they're able to cope and be able to set their intentions to feel this, that, or the other, and they have the power instead of energies controlling them.
How does someone know if their loved one or child is an empath and could use this kind of direction and guidance?
Usually an empathic person, it appears to be a very overly sensitive individual, that they cry really easily, or just their anger or even their excitement is usually over the top. And so usually those individuals also have a lot of difficulty with focusing, and so in the Western medicine, a lot of them are diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and so it's really because they need to be grounded. And the discomfort that I see with individuals that have ADD, ADHD is they are not necessarily grounded, and they energetically check out, and so therefore they're scattered. And so when I help them understand different tools, then they're much better. But again, if I guess if the teachers are noticing that there is some disturbances in their behaviors, then they would know.
Because if they're ADD or ADHD, maybe the last thing you would think to diagnose them with is sensitivity, oversensitivity, because it looks like they're acting out, it looks like they're an extrovert, and that's not the issue, but that's just a cloak. I mean, that's deceptive.
Mask. Right, and it could even be the person next to them, because empathic people, as you know, sensitive people, they absorb people's energies.
Right.
So it could be a very mild-mannered child, but if you have someone next to you that is hyperactive, then that person is also going to be hyperactive because they're picking up on that other person's energies. So they need to determine if it's theirs or not theirs.
So like in a classroom, that'd be like the situation where somebody hits somebody in class, and the other person yells out, and that person gets in trouble. In this case, it'd be an empath saying, I think it was somebody else's energy. It wasn't me.
Yes. Yeah, the teacher may or may not understand that, yes.
Right, okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so people can reach you at tarawenig.com.
Yes.
Tara or Tara.
Yes.
And I imagine on your website there's more information. Do you have any videos or any little information. I mean, this is very informative. If someone is in that situation, I'd be surprised why they wouldn't just book an appointment, but I imagine you have little bits of information.
Yeah, I also have a quiz online.
Oh, good.
It says take this quiz if you're a highly sensitive person, and then I do have a link that they can go to Facebook, and then I do have videos that you can actually, I do weekly healings, and you can energetically, physically feel it wherever you are as well.
Brilliant.
Yes.
That's really good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for what you do.
Thank you.
All right, and so it's tarotwenig.com. Check it out. If you're an empath or you know someone who is, chances are you do.